What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video, and I'm sure by now we all know that the New England Patriots made a surprising cut by releasing wide receiver Mohamed Sanu. Now, yes, this does free up a roster spot technically for the New England Patriots. Do I expect them to fill it though? No, I don't. Because by Saturday, 4 p.m., the New England Patriots will have to cut down to 53 players. So big amount of roster moves are going to be occurring by then. There's no point for the New England Patriots to sign someone just for a couple of days. So, yeah, don't expect any new signings just because they released Sanu. But I think I speak for everybody when I say that this is very frustrating. You know, the New England Patriots made a trade with the Atlanta Falcons back in October, right before the trade deadline, to give Tom Brady some help at the wide receiver position, and they gave up a second-round pick for Mohamed Sanu. Now, a lot of people are probably wondering, why in God's name did they do that? You know, a lot of other people were making trades at that point. Emmanuel Sanders got dealt also to the 49ers, and they didn't have to give up a second-round pick. Essentially, why the New England Patriots gave up a second-round pick, one was because, unlike the other trades that teams were making for players around the league, Mohamed Sanu was signed not just for 1 year, but he was signed under contract for the rest of 2019, but also 2020. There were also a lot of teams trying to get Mohamed Sanu. They were really trying to make this trade, and the New England Patriots desperately wanted Sanu, and that's why they gave up that second-round pick. This essentially seemed like a pretty good trade here by the New England Patriots, because Mohamed Sanu, while he was with the Falcons, he was never a good number 1 receiver, but that's not what the Patriots needed. He was always a number 2, number 3 wide receiver, and that's exactly what the Patriots needed, and he could fit in perfectly. A guy who can play on the outside, a guy who can play in the slot. He brings a little bit of height. And at first, it looked like the trade was 100% worth it. I mean, he came in pretty quickly, being able to make a connection with Tom Brady, and that's something that rarely happens. The last person I saw come in and make that type of connection with Tom Brady was Josh Gordon, and I think because of that, us Pats fans really thought that this was a connection and this was a trade that truly was going to go somewhere. And at the beginning, it genuinely seemed like that. His first game with the Browns, we knew that he really was not going to get much snap time. He was only going to get a few snaps because he was just traded to the Patriots, and in his debut, he was able to record 2 receptions for 23 yards, averaging 11.5 yards per reception. The following week is, I think, when us Patriots fans and the Patriots organization really just saw what Mohamed Sanu was able to do, and I think this is where we realized this trade has the ability to really be something, and that's when we played the Ravens. That was our first loss of the season. Everything else offensively sucked except for, Mohamed Sanu, in which he recorded 10 receptions for 81 yards, averaging 8.1 yards per reception and a touchdown. After that, there were big expectations for Mohamed Sanu, and he just didn't live up to them. Now, partially, I think a big reason to that did come down to the injury. The week following the Ravens game, the Patriots played the Eagles, and he ended up getting injured on, I believe it was a punt return, really banged up his ankle. It was something that he ended up having to get off-season surgery on, so, he had a reason to why he wasn't performing as well. The rest of the season, he wasn't putting up great stats. I mean, 4 yards, 14 yards, 13 yards, 13 yards, 24 yards, 35 yards. You can truly see that he wasn't making an impact. Also had some issues with drops. Now, real quick, y'all, the wait is finally over because football is back. Now, you might not be at a game this year, but you can still be in all the action with BetOnline. Now, BetOnline is going to the extreme. They are going that extra mile to make sure that you get in on everything imaginable for this upcoming sports season. From game spreads and totals to teams to players and coaching props, BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any other place online. I mean, you can get in on their season opening bonuses today and start off wagering to win They also have divisional and championship futures also happening today. So guys, go ahead right now and go to BetOnline today and take advantage of all the great signings and bonuses. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. But now we take a little bit of a closer look at Mohamed Sanu. We look at this offseason, and I think a lot of us believed, you know what, it's time to trade Mohamed Sanu. Let's try to get something out of Mohamed Sanu. Personally, I thought Mohamed Sanu dealt with that injury. He got offseason surgery. I thought that this could be a really good sign. The Patriots went and they signed Cam Newton, and Cam Newton and Mohamed Sanu are two players that already had a really good connection off the field. Right when the Patriots went ahead and signed Cam Newton, actually before they signed Cam Newton, Mohamed Sanu and Newton were working out together. Then the Patriots signed him. They're working out together even more. It looked like a match made in heaven. And it was extremely clear that Sanu was looking to have a big bounce back season. He got that surgery. He was working out all offseason, and we were hearing good things. He hired a wide receiver coach to live with him to get him into that mentality. From everything that we're hearing about him, there's no reason that he shouldn't be the Patriots' number 2 wide receiver for this upcoming season. Then training camp starts, and things just don't go that well. You're not hearing anything about Mohamed Sanu. As things go on, and it was later, we only heard about this the past day or two, that Mohamed Sanu was just kind of looking slow. He was looking sluggish. He wasn't looking fast. His footwork wasn't looking as good as, he tried to make it seem like it was. And then ironically, right before Sanu was released, it was the same day, Mike Reiss came out with his 53-man roster prediction, and he actually had Mohamed Sanu getting cut. And if you know Mike Reiss, the reporter, ESPN reporter for the New England Patriots, love that guy. He does not just come out with crazy takes like that. He is extremely realistic. So when he said that, you automatically thought, oh God, something's not going great with Sanu. And then a few hours later, they end up cutting him. The other interesting part here is the fact that it came out that for a while now, the New England Patriots have been trying to trade Sanu. They've been trying to find some type of trade partner for him, and they're just not able to find anyone. I think of this situation kind of like Leonard Fournette and the Jags. They tried to find some type of trade partner for him for the longest time, and they couldn't even get a 7th-round pick out of him. And sadly, that's the same thing here for the Patriots. And it's sad because they gave up a 2nd-round pick for this guy. Someone who essentially was just a 1-year rental. And if that was the case, I would have much rather the New England Patriots went out and got Emmanuel Sanders. Had to give up less draft capital wise, and I think all around just would have been a better selection for the Patriots. While he was having his issues, I do still think that he's better than a good amount of the receivers already on the New England Patriots. I think money is the true thing that came down to this. Again, $6 million for Mohamed Sanu. And again, he wasn't going to be the Patriots' number 2 receiver. 3 if he's lucky. And I think Bill Belichick finally just kind of sat back and went, we're not going to give you $6 million if you're not going to perform at least as a number 2 wide receiver. And Mohamed Sanu basically went, well, you know what? I want to play somewhere where I feel appreciated. I know what I'm worth, and I'm going to play somewhere where I'm getting that $6 million because I know I'm a good wide receiver. They couldn't come to an agreement. Mohamed Sanu didn't want to take a pay cut. Bill Belichick wasn't willing to pay him that $6 million. They went in opposite directions. But now the New England Patriots are sitting at a position where they get less depth here on the wide receiver chart. I do expect Belichick to add some type of body there, whether that's claiming somebody at 53-man roster cut downs when all these teams are releasing players, whether he makes some type of trade. I'm not expecting anything big. This does free up some more money for the New England Patriots, about $5 to $6 million. So currently, cap situation-wise, we're sitting available at about $37 million. Keep in mind, though, with that $37 million, it does kind of toy around with you because a good amount of that does also go in with the players that opted out. But if they do come back, the Patriots do still owe them that money, so it's not exactly $37 million, but they clearly do have some wiggle room if they decide to use it. That is going to be it for today's video, though. The Patriots released wide receiver Mohamed Sanu. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for all of your New England Patriots news. But like always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.